So this is the short story of how I ended up flying around Australia and getting paid a huge amount for doing so, all expenses paid. So this is Alan, the Accidental Copywriter, with another short story. I've been invited to share my expertise over in Brisbane in Australia. All expenses paid. So the business class flight was paid. And I jumped on the plane and started the trip over there. A long trip. If you've never flown to Australia, it's a long trip. But anyway, I got there. I did my presentation at the event. And during this presentation, I came across a client and he said to me, I would love you to come over to our business and give us some advice. And I'm thinking, in my head, I'm thinking, well, I'm just Alan the copywriter. You know, how can I really advise these guys? But of course, we had a conversation and I agreed to go there. And I asked, where is the business? He said, well, it's in Melbourne. Well, Melbourne is quite a long way away from Brisbane. In fact, it's a couple of hour flight. When I say it's a long way, it's not really a long way, but when we fly around in the UK, it's, 45 to 60 minute flight. So to go to Melbourne, 2.5 hours, felt like a long trip, really. So he offered me an amount of cash that I just couldn't quite believe at the time. And I don't really want to say the amount on here, but it was over a year's wage to go over there. So I said, yes, I will come over. So after I finished my presentation, I'd first of all been invited to a golf club. And I went to this golf club, but this was with a different client, to give some advice and just sit there literally just for a couple of hours and give some advice to this company. And they paid me £5,000 just for sitting there and chatting and doing this advice. And this was an insane amount of cash because I wasn't even earning this kind of cash as a hairdresser. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was to fly over to Melbourne. So I went over to Melbourne. They told me that they would get everything rearranged, my flight home rearranged on Emirates, which we sorted that whole thing out. They paid for everything, still business class. And the next thing was they would pay for the hotel. Well, if you'd seen this hotel, it was completely insane. It was almost like a glass cube on top of this huge hotel on the river in Melbourne. So wherever you stood in this hotel, apart from the back wall, of course, which was solid, wherever you stood in this hotel, a hotel room, you could see everything and everywhere, and it was just completely stunning. It was absolutely amazing. So they put me up in this hotel, this really beautiful suite. They paid for it. Then I got picked up in the morning and they took me on a trip around Melbourne. They paid for it. And then in the afternoon we ended up at their business and I went into their offices and we discussed all their numbers and everything else and different ways of they can improve it and so on and so forth. They paid the bill there and then. It was like in the bank, there was the cash. Again, it was more than a year's wage I got paid just for giving this consultancy. On the back of the consultancy, I did have to write a report and send the report back to them of what they would have to do, which I did, of course, when I got home. And apart from that, they showered me with gifts, including a diamond-encrusted ring, which was worth, well, it was worth about £30,000, this ring. They gave me this ring also. So, why am I telling you these ridiculous stories? Well, because I was a hairdresser, became the copywriter. And I transitioned from that job from hairdressing, doing all these insane hours every week, to this job as a copywriter stroke consultant, doing less hours every week. And frankly, it just felt completely insane. I felt like the door of the stable had been opened and the wild horse was running all over the place. It was, quite honestly, pretty amazing. And still is, of course. So, regardless of what job we're in, we can transition to something else. It's just up to us to take the effort, make the initiative and make it happen. So again, this is just another story from the Accidental Copywriter about the life and the times and the tales and the adventures of being a copywriter. I'm just really sharing with you that this can happen for you if it's what you really want. So again, this is Alan, the Accidental Copywriter, with another story. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share if you want to. And don't forget to leave a comment or ask a question underneath. And until next time, I'll see you then.